Howdy Yins, and welcome to the Urn Turners. And I'm your host, Cletus Ray Archibald Ignatius Remington the Third. That's right. And today on the show, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of shit. In particular, we're going to talk about a fella that was watching one of my episodes the other day, and he sent me a damn email. And in the email, it was a really long email, and he says, "Hey Cletus, what do you think about this book I'm starting to write right here?" And the title was, I'm going to show it to you. Molōn, Labé, Spray and Pray. Anyhow, I'm going to see if I can get this on a thumbnail, but regardless, I said, well, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. But then it dawned on me, he's talking about Molōn Labé. I said, oh shit, I'm going to read it. So, I read it. This fella's writing a book, okay? It's pretty damn good. So good that I want to read it to you right now. And what it's about is kind of about the Second Amendment, a little bit of history, with a Southern twist. I think he's going to like it, all right? I enjoyed the hell out of it. And I think he asked me not to put his email out there, but I think, sir, that you ought to finish this book and Godspeed with finding a publisher, because I don't reckon any of these mainstream publishers are going to pick this up. But I'll do what I can to promote your shit, and I'm going to go ahead and read it. It's pretty good, all right? Here it is. All right. Buckle the fuck up, Buttercup. This is your no bullshit, balls to the wall deep dive into the Second Amendment. 2A. We're talking the one that actually matters. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. 27 words that have tyrants, bureaucrats, and every single blue-haired MSNBC wine aunt pissing their collective pennies for 235 years. That's a good start. I'm going to cover what the founders actually meant, not the NPR revisionist fanfic. What the courts turned into today, and how Southern boys and girls see it as holy writ, and why the federal government from both wings of the Uniparty wants it gone so bad they'd sell their own damn mamas to the highest bidder. So I'm going to get a little facetious, conspiratorial as hell, and vulgar, because sugarcoating this shit is for the cowards and the CNN interns. I like it, sir. I like it. What it was intended for was basically to say, fuck tyrants, arm the people. The 2A didn't pop out of James Madison's asshole in a vacuum. It was forged in the blood and fire of the Revolutionary War. English common law fuckery and a deep primal terror of standing armies controlled by kings, or in our case, a distant federal overlord. Go back to the English Bill of Rights in 1689. Protestants could keep arms for their defense suitable for their condition and allowed by law. Why? Because King James II was disarming his political enemies and building a loyal professional army to stomp it on the rubble. Does this sound familiar? Okay. Well, our founders, sorry fellers, those wig-wearing, slave-owning, liberty-spouting geniuses were paranoid as hell about the same thing. They just beat the world's superpower with a ragtag militia of farmers, blacksmiths, and moonshiners that showed up with their own Kentucky long rifles. No draft, no Pentagon budget black hole, just citizens who could shoot straight and hated the redcoats more than taxes. The Declaration of Independence bitched about King George, keeping the standing armies without the consent of our legislatures, the military independent of and superior to the civil power. All right, good start. Nice history lesson. Fuck his beard. Real funny, ain't it, fellers? They said, Cletus, you ought to wear a beard when you up there doing a monologue. It's real funny, ain't it? Here, yeah, getting in my mouth and my beard. Fuck this beard. Alexander Hamilton, he spelled it out in Federalist number 29. A well-regulated militia isn't some weekend National Guard LARP. It's the whole body of the people. Able-bodied men, even though it was the 1780s, trained enough not to blow their own dicks off. Ready to defend the free state. He straight up said if the feds get tyrannical, the people have the original right of self-defense. To tell them to go get fucked. Alright. Well, George Washington, quote, a free people ought not only to be armed, but disciplined. Thomas Jefferson, in his Virginia Constitution draft, quote, no free man shall ever be debarred from the use of arms. Patrick Henry at the Virginia Ratifying Convention, quote, the great object is that every man be armed. Every man who is able may have a gun. Okay. Well, I can tell you so far, sir, I really liked what you're writing here. Okay? We're going to keep on going. The militia clause is not a limiter. It's the reason the damn whole right exists. A free state needs armed citizens so that it doesn't need a permanent standing army that could turn on the people. Well regulated back then meant properly equipped and trained, not choked by the damn ATF paperwork until you cry. The right to keep and bear arms was individual as hell. Self-defense in your cabin, hunting supper, or ventilating the redcoats. Later on, it wound up being tax collectors. If shit got spicy. It was never about duck hunting and sporting purposes. It was about making sure the government feared the people, not the other way around. As one founder put it, an armed populace is the ultimate check on power. No guns? Well, hello. Tyranny's going to have tyranny with extra steps. Sorry, I fucked that one up. Anti-federalists like Richard Henry Lee were screaming that without this, a select militia or standing army could disarm everyone else and turn the republic into a police state. Heh. Madison threw the 2A into the Bill of Rights to shut them up and to get the Constitution ratified. It wasn't a participation trophy for the National Guard, which did not exist back then, by the way. It was insurance against exactly the kind of federal overreach that we are drowning in now. Hell. The collective right bullshit to Brune's history hammer. That's what this is about. For 200 years, courts mostly left 2A alone, like a crazy uncle that you just don't want to talk about. Then the 20th century happened. Gangsters, assassinations, riots, a slow creep of for the children, nanny state horse shit. Well, early on it was treated as an individual right. Post-Civil War, southern states passed racist gun laws to disarm the freed blacks. And we're going to talk more on that southern flavor later. While northern industrialists didn't give a shit until Prohibition gang wars. The National Firearms Act of 1934 taxed the guns and sawed-offs after the whole Bonnie and Clyde debacle made headlines. The Gun Control Act of 1968 came after MLK and RFK got shot. Banned mail-order guns, felons, and crazies from buying firearms. The 1994 assault weapons ban was a temporary feel-good theater that expired and did jack shit. The big pivot was the collective right myth pushed by gun grabbers. Quote, it's only for the militia, bro, and the militia is the National Guard now, so go home, peasant, end quote. That was the activist cope until District of Columbia versus Heller in 2008. Justice Scalia dropped the mic. 2A protects an individual right to keep and bear arms for self-defense in the home, unconnected to militia service. So DC's handgun ban? Question mark. Unconstitutional as fuck. Of course it was. Handguns are in common use for lawful purposes. The militia clause explains the why, not the who. McDonald versus Chicago in 2010 made it apply to the states via the 14th Amendment. The New York State and Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin in 2022 went full or originalist nuke. Clarence Thomas, we need more him. If the plain text covers your conduct, carrying a gun for self-defense, it's presumptively protected. Government has to prove the restriction matches the historical tradition of firearm regulation at the founding. No, quote, interest balancing or, quote, public safety hand waving. New York's, quote, may issue concealed carry bullshit, well, it's dead. Now it's a shall issue or constitutional carry in most places. Rahimi in 2024 upheld disarming domestic abusers under restraining orders because there were historical analogs, meaning sureties of the peace, etc., but everything else is fair game for lawsuits. And it goes on. Today, it's a goddamn golden age for gun rights in the red states. Constitutional carry, stand your ground, no mag limit suppressors are easier than ever to acquire. And blue states are having meltdowns with assault weapons bans and mag limits, getting struck down left and right. Surprise, the AR-15 is the most common rifle in America. It's hard to call them dangerous and unusual. Lower courts are in chaos, but the trend is clear. 2A is expanding, not shrinking. And the collective right lie is buried next to the assault weapons or machine guns myth. I like it, son, I like it. This is some good shit, buddy. This is how the Southerners see it. Heritage, hunting, and Molōn Labé, motherfucker. Down here in Dixie, 2A ain't no abstract philosophy. It is the oxygen. Gun ownership rates? Well, rural South crushes it. 47+% in many states versus the 20% in urban coasts. It's culture. Granddaddy's 30-30 in the truck rack for hogs and home defense. Deer season is a damn family reunion. Saturday range days with the boys, teaching you youngins trigger discipline before they can even drive. We don't damn need guns like city folks need kale smoothies. We are guns. Historically, post-Reconstruction, Southern whites clung to their arms after the feds pulled out, the carpetbaggers rolled in. Yeah, there were black codes disarming freedmen, which is racist as hell, and the courts have rightly called that tainted history out post-Ramos/Bruin. I reckon that's a court case. But for white Southerners, guns meant protecting your land, your family, your honor, in a lawless time when murder rates were sky high. That, quote, legacy of slavery and civil war angle, some academics push, well, is a partial truth, but slave revolts scared the shit out of the planters, so militias were formed to control, were for control and defense, but it morphed into a broader ethos. Self-reliance against any threat, federal or otherwise. The South never forgot Sherman's march, nor did they forget the federal occupation. An armed populace kept Yankee overreach at bay. The modern Southern view is, well, 2A is the ultimate middle finger to Washington, D.C. It's why we laugh at assault weapons bans while our ARs with 30 rounders, 60 rounders, 100 rounders, you know, them dual drum betas. Shit, they even got, I reckon they got 200 rounders now. But anyway, sit ready for whatever. Crime? Well, urban Democrat cities have the body counts. We handle our own. Tyranny? Well, we done seen that. COVID lockdowns, ATF rule changes, FBI raiding grandmas for J6 memes, Southerners seeing 2A as the teeth to the Constitution. Polls show that Republicans in rural areas, heavy Southern overlap, own guns at double the rate of Democrats. It's masculinity, God, gun, and family. And don't tread on me in a steel form. We don't fetishize mass shootings. We point at Chicago and Baltimore and say, fix your shit and your criminals, not my guns. Here's the facetious take though. Yankees, well, they want common sense laws so they can feel safe in the gated enclaves while we keep the spirit of 1776 alive with sweet tea and a suppressed 300 blackout. It's not monolithic. Plenty of Southern lives, but the cultural core is sacred. Take our guns, you're going to need another civil war, and good luck with that. Why the government wants it gone? Well, that's obvious. Control, false flags, and elites dick measuring. But here's a red pill. Serve with a side of I done told you so. The federal government, swamp creatures in both parties, deep state grifters, globalist NGOs and their media pets, hate in armed citizenry because armed citizens are hard to fuck with. If you disarm the plebs and you can ram through whatever, wealth redistribution, open borders, digital IDs, CBDCs, climate lockdowns, the whole great reset's wet dream. An AR-15 in every redneck safe is the ultimate no to you will own nothing and be happy. This is some good shit. History screams it. Gun control always spikes after crisis they can exploit. The 1934 NFA after gangster shootouts, which prohibition was created. 1968 after the assassinations, conveniently right when the Black Panthers were open carrying into California. And suddenly, Reagan and the NRA backed restrictions. So it's funny how that works, ain't it? After Sandy Hook, Parkland, Uvalde, well, wash, rinse, repeat. You got to do something. While the shooters were always on watch lists or got guns illegally, assault weapons, that is, that look scary, but kill fewer people yearly than a hammer or a fist. They're going to ban them. High cap mags, same. Background checks that already catch prohibited persons expand universally so we can track every damn transfer. So here's a conspiratorial angle. Mass shootings are a perfect false flag catalyst. Lone nuts with SSRIs and a manifesto. It's a media orgasm, pushing the whole damn white supremacy and ghost guns while they ignore the mental health collapse, fatherless homes, and cultural rot. Meanwhile, the ATF keeps losing guns to the cartels, think Fast and Furious style. Meanwhile, elites fly private with armed security while telling you, don't nobody need 30 rounds. Why, you ask? Because the populace stays armed, you can't pull off full authoritarian grift. COVID showed the mask. 2 weeks to flatten the curve became vax or lose your damn job. Imagine that with guns off the table. Door-to-door compliance, that would have been a bloodbath. January 6th was mostly unarmed people. It was actually Antifa with the rifles. But that's a different story. So the real why? Well, a disarmed population is cattle. Look at every tyranny. They throw in here Nazi Germany. I got something to say about that. But we'll save that for another episode. Stalin, General Mao, Venezuela. First it's registration, then confiscation. For safety, of course. Our own feds have floated buybacks, red flag gun laws, which means guilty until proven innocent, and assault weapon registries that turn law-abiding owners into felons overnight. UN Small Arms Treaty? Well, that's a globalist wet dream. Soros-funded DAs? Well, they let criminals roam while targeting legal gun owners. It ain't about the damn crime. It's about compliance. And Southerners, well, we get this shit instinctively. The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. That's a quote. Thomas Jefferson wasn't suggesting a polite debate. The vulgar truth is, well, these cocksucking insider trading Epstein adjacent parasites in DC, they know the Second Amendment is the last firewall. Without it, they can import millions and millions more illegals, inflate away your savings, censor the internet, and mandate your pronouns at gunpoint. Their gunpoint. They push gun violence stats that lump suicides and gang beefs with assault rifles, because facts just damn don't matter. Narrative does. They want an Australia-style confiscation. But they know we turn flyover country into a free fire zone, so they nibble. Pistol braces, 80% lowers, bump stocks, frame and receiver rules. It's just death by 1,000 regulatory paper cuts, and that's the damn truth. So in closing, the 2A was born to arm the Yeoman against the empire. It's evolved into the most robust individual right in modern jurisprudence, thanks to originalists finally growing some spines. Southerners live it as a birthright and a bulwark. The government wants it neutered because free men with guns complicate the slavery 2.0 agenda. Train, stockpile ammo, and vote like your rights depend on it, because they do. Don't ever apologize for exercising what the founders bled for. If they ever come for them door to door, well, quote, shall not be infringed ain't a damn suggestion. Molōn Labé, you federal fucks. Stay strapped, America. The Republic's insurance policy is still in force for now. Now, damn it, I tell you what, son, that book ought to be on the top bestsellers list. I think you got you a home run there, sir. I think you ought to keep working on it, and I think you should try to get you a publisher, and I'll do whatever I can to promote it when it's done. If you'd send me a copy, I'll gladly do what I can do. Good job, and amen.